I have one day these days, she's still Comstock there. I don't hear it all.
Thanks for coming. And I'd like to mention to you this, if you need more information about what's going on at the table there's everything there, and there's information in this flyer, and also the next program they're having is in December. It's December 3rd. It's cookie decorating, and there's a flyer for that up on the table. And we're part of the Comstock Park Outreach Program, and it's a nonprofit group, and we host these series free of charge. The program, and the one in October, this one last month, and the first month we got back together again after the COVID. And I'd like to thank the Comstock Park Outreach Program Committee for sponsoring this program. Now I'd like to introduce our speaker, Dave Kampfschulte, and his topic is My Life as a Groupie, and he's from Aquinas College. And you can take over.
Thank you, Kathy. Kathy being the short straw, she's the only one who can pronounce my name, so she had a way of using it. I'm sure you're all looking at that and saying, thank goodness I don't have that last name. You know, we're the only ones around here. Does anybody know any Kampfschultes at all? Well, it's, I always tell people, if you can say my name, you can, you know somebody in the family. If you can spell my name, you are my name. My kids, when they were little, they had a real struggle learning how to spell their last name, so I'm in education. So I came up with the Kampfschulte song. Would you like to learn it?
Yes.
All right. It's a sing-along. It's a sing-along, so get your voices ready. Kampf.
Kampfschulte.
Schul. Te. Obviously, there's only one E, but I had to kind of work it in there, you know? So I am volunteering in my daughter's classroom many years ago, first grade, and she's watching her write her name on her paper, and she's going to the beat of the song. And then fast forward 25 years, and my son is getting here. And my daughter's like me, she likes the microphone in front of her. She gets up and she's going to give a toast. And she said to my daughter-in-law, she said, Jen, she says, you're taking on a really tough thing here. I have a song to teach you. So everybody heard the Kampfschulte song. As Kathy said, I work for Aquinas College. Aquinas College has a senior learning program called ALI, Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. They have classes year-round there. Right now we're doing them on Zoom. And they have just everything under the sun. If you go to Ali at Aquinas, you can get their catalog. They're starting to, they're in their second fall semester right now. And it's a fantastic program. Calvin College also has what's called CALM. And Calvin has a grant that sends people like me into the community. And so that's why I'm here today. It's a great deal. Aquinas College pays me to come. It doesn't cost local Panthers anything because you guys are seniors. One of them for being a senior, right? Mm-hmm. And it gets me off the street, gets me out of my wife's hair. And today I'm really fortunate because I get a cookie too. So, and then the kind of share them the kind I like. So some of you may see this up there and say, oh, Jane's going to talk about how we rock and roll bands around the United States today as a younger person. I wish that was true. I was actually in the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last Friday. You know, you've already been there, but it's really a trip down memory lane with all that. So I could probably qualify as a part of the group. So, if you get a group of kids who are like 10 to a group, and you get a facilitator, and they give them some type of obstacle, some type of problem they have to solve, and the only way they can do it is they have to work as a team. It doesn't work if one person can get through it, the other 9 don't. They all got to come together and do that. And they need people to be facilitators. I love the outdoors. I love this. I raise my hand, yeah, I'll do that. And so it was really a fascinating experience. Because what we did was we sit down afterward, we have this experience, we sit down and say, why did we succeed? Why did we fail? What do we need to do for the next, there's a series of them that we have to do. And then kids start, that night, they sit around the campfire, and you ask questions for them, they start talking about themselves, and talking about their families, talking about their struggles, talking about their joys, and it was like a light bulb went on. I said, this is a whole lot different than the school that I was brought up in. Probably you too. And I said, how cool this is. And it really forced me to think, what is education about? What is the purpose of education? If I asked that question, most of you would say, well, to get people so they get the skills to have a job and a contributing member of society. But it's also, I discovered it's much more than that. It's having people become so they can learn with each other. So they know themselves, so they learn to express their emotions. Today, the big thing in schools is emotional intelligence. People are realizing companies want people who are emotionally intelligent. What I mean is, they want people who can work as a team, they want people who can compromise, they want people who can brainstorm, they want people to be able to listen to other people as and they've discovered, they've done a test on this, where the people who are emotionally intelligent outperform very smart groups. Not individually, but groups that work together. They want groups that work together. So when I talk about, I've done a lot of groups in my life. These are the types of groups I have done. Most people think when you think of a group, you think of a support group, you think of a grief group or AA or something like that. But we did that. I used to teach at East Grand Rapids High School after I was at Forest Hills. And we had new students, people who came to the school that was new. And they didn't know anybody. So we got all the new students together, and we put them in with some people who were new students the year before. And they had a chance to tell the story. One guy said, I remember coming here, I sat on the football field every day for lunch by myself until it started snowing, because I didn't know anybody. And I heard that story, and I said, we don't want that to happen again. And so they had a chance to get to know each other, and they also know people who had been down that road ahead of them. Students who got in trouble groups, we call this decision-making workshop. If you got in trouble either with the law or with the school, you had to come and have class with me at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. And I'm a morning person. I would have had it at 7 o'clock if I could have gotten away with it. These kids are all coming in there because we wrangle and everything, and we call this decision-making workshop. And we spent 3.5, 4 hours together, and we talked about, how to make better decisions. I went to a conference, and part of the conference was they had a deal where you put mouse traps along the floor, and you had a Bible of one of the students, and the other one had a guide through the mouse trap in. I said, we're going to do this as a workshop. That was a big, they had to take off their shoes, they had to do their stocking. We had discussion groups. I still have a discussion group at Ollie right now. It meets 4 or 5 times a year, and we come up with topics, and we vote on how, should marijuana be legalized? 1, I strongly agree. 2, I'm in the middle. 3, I strongly disagree. Everybody hold up your fingers. Let's talk about why you voted the way you voted. Action groups. I went to a conference, and I met a guy from Wisconsin, and he was telling me everybody in his school is in some type of group during their time there. I said, I gotta see this. So I told my good friend, can I go up there? I want to take a couple days off and do that. He said, sure. And so I got on a plane, drove up to Wisconsin after the airport. This guy was fascinating. The whole school was connected because they are all going through these groups where they were experiential groups. They had a climbing wall on the gym. They had to climb together as a team. They were tethered in. And they had once again worked together. They got a chance to teachers and adults in the community were the facilitators of the groups. So I came back to East Grand Rapids and I started, everybody who was a freshman had an opportunity, what we call an action group. Let's see, action, communication, trust, initiation, opportunities never ending. I used to teach a class called Experiences of Living, Life as an Adult. How many people took a marriage and family class or family living class when you were in high school? Raise your hand if you did. Well, I inherited this class, and I said, not everybody gets married, but we all become adults. So I changed it to Experiences of Living, Life as an Adult. We didn't have a test, we didn't have a textbook. We told a lot of stories. We talked about different topics. We talked about what makes up a family, communication, how to handle a family crisis. Talked about money management. We talked about relationships. It was a great class to teach. It was all for juniors and seniors and semester-long class. Death cafes. Has anybody been to a death cafe? Oh, I have to tell you, I have a whole other side of my life. I've been a hospice volunteer for 35 years. And I do life stories for hospice. I was at the library down the street last night talking about that. But if you Google death cafes, there's basically people sitting around in a small group talking about end of life. What do you imagine it's going to be like? Well, tell me about your experiences with other people in your life who have died. And it's a fascinating thing because as a rule in our society, we don't like to talk about that. But it's a real, you talk about a quick hour and a half, it goes like that. And it's a really, there's another one, a sister organization called Death with Dinner. And they sent out a menu and said that this is what we're going to have for dinner tonight, and here are the questions that we're going to talk about. So if you get a chance, Google it. They're all over the place. I facilitated those. I've also been part of them. I also used to lead trips to the Boundary Waters in Minnesota. And we were out in the wilderness for a week. No cell phones, no nothing. We were just out on the road. We got an app. We got a route we're going to follow. And the kids would come to these portages. And they had to get everything out of the canoes, carry it across the land. Sometimes it's the length of this room, sometimes it's a mile. And they got to put the canoes on their back and everything. And they had to once again do this team. And it's really been fun because you watch the one kid. There's like seven students in the group and 2 adults. And you watch one kid take an oar and walk across. And the others are packing like, they're crazy, they're sweating like this. And I have 2 choices at that point. I can say at the end, you got to pick up your load. Well, all I have to say is, how can we do this better? And the group will get on that person. You would carry it back, we can do this a lot easier. So that's part of that. So I've done a lot of facilitating. I've trained people to be facilitators. There's all these groups that I ran in East Grand Rapids. I didn't run them by myself. I had a whole network of seniors and adults in the community who were able to go through the training, so they learn how to be facilitators. And part of facilitating is we've got to learn how to listen to people. And also we have this connection with people. I've had questions say, it was really nice because I had a chance to talk and get to know the senior in my group. And they were somebody I could go to for advice if I needed that. I had this adult. They weren't like any other adult I'd ever came in contact with. They didn't tell us what to do. They just let the group kind of, they set a path for the group and let the group do their own thing. Common ingredients to a group, whether it's I don't care what it is, whether it's a wilderness group or a support group. Number one, it's going to be experiential based. It's usually some type of activity or some type of discussion. It's just not like a lecture. We're going to do that today. You guys are going to get a chance to experience some things. So volunteer, raise your hand early based off. That's kind of voting, okay? It doesn't take any skill, doesn't take any intelligence. It's just there are no brainer types of questions I'm going to be asking. There's going to be interaction between people. There's going to be action between me and the group, and there's also going to be interaction between each other. It's a non-threatening activities to start with. I'll give you an example. Sharon, since you're the person who hired me to come here today, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? It's not going to embarrass you. It's not going to require any thought on your part. Metaphorically speaking, do you see yourself as a window or as a door? Your personality.
I never thought myself as one of them.
Well, I don't. Most people don't think of that. I agree with that. Yes, but if you had to pick one.
A door.
A door. And why would you say door, Sharon?
It sounded better.
It's how you have it. Okay, all right. Can I ask you a similar question? Okay. Now you don't get the same one though. Metaphorically speaking, do you see yourself as a blank piece of paper or a live piece of paper?
Blind.
No, she was very confident. What's the next word out of my mouth right now? Why? Why did you say that?
Well, even though I'm always making notes and I will write them, not necessarily on line paper, I'll imagine my lines, but just because I seem to have directions when I do things out loud.
Okay, so it's important for you to be organized a little bit and have those lines as a guide with that. That's why you said line paper. Okay, one more. Can I call it? Sure. This is fun, isn't it? Metaphorically speaking, do you see yourself as the bow or the arrow?
Here.
And next word on my mouth. Because it moves, and you like to be around the move, is it difficult for you to sit like right now? Well, if you want to join that, I think watching you move around, she's like, they don't be going away from the camera. So, those are the kinds of activities that actually people start to look. What happened? A lot of people laugh. You said, I never thought that before. And it's a common thing. There's no intelligence, there's no right or wrong answer to these things. And I got a whole list of them. It gets people comfortable. It also gives people in the idea, in the habit of asking why. I'm never going to have to do that again in this group. You're going to, from now on, you're going to just say why, because that's Harvey. Well, when did he come back after a commercial break? Page 2! And what were the next words on his mouth? Yeah, he had to call Harvey goes. Now for the rest of the story. Okay? And that's what, as a facilitator, I am trying to get people to give me is the rest of the story. Because a couple of things happen then. If you just say line paper, because we're programmed from our A, B, C, D, true, false, and that's how we had with our education. But now I want to learn more about you. I want to learn about that. I want a story. I would say, she needs to be organized. I got to present things to her in that kind of manner. Okay? She likes to have activity to move around and dance to open. It's like that. Some kind of story is going to be told. When I say that, I don't mean Goldilocks and the Three Bears or Once Upon a Time. You told me a story about being organized. You told me a story about being active. Okay? You haven't told me your story. Okay? I'll get to you, Sharon. Okay? So that's what I mean. Because as a facilitator, I say why or because there's going to be a story somewhere. Okay? That's the other thing. Listening. It's important for me to listen to what they're saying. It's important for me to listen to what emotions I'm picking up. Not just the words out of their mouth, but also their emotions. Emotions come in a lot. They come out with words, but they also come out with gestures. If you say, Dave, how are you doing today? I go, fine. What does that say to you? The words out of my mouth say I'm doing good, but you watching me, you listen to my reflection. And you say, that doesn't sound too good. By the way, and so what would you say? If I said, I'm fine, what would you say to me?
You don't look fine.
You don't act fine, you don't look fine, you don't sound fine. And that invites me into the conversation. It invites me to tell my story about what's going on right now in my life. It could be just a minor thing, but people, once again, we all have things going on, and to be able to talk about it was a relief. Okay? And it helps me understand what's going on too. So, two things you've learned already. Why? Because also recognizing gestures. And 70% of all conversation is unspoken. And so it's important to pick down on that stuff. I had a hospice patient once, and the guy was the most laid-back guy. We laughed, we cribbage, everything. I got there like on the fourth visit, and he was just kind of antsy. He was just in his kind of down. I said, you know, what do you think I said to him? You don't look a little anxious today. And he said, I am anxious. So I said, tell me about it. He said, well, I've been married twice before. You don't know this. And both my wives have died. And I'm going to die pretty soon. I'm in hospice, by the way. And when I do die, I go to heaven. Who am I going to be with? And I wanted to laugh right out loud, just like you guys did. There was serious business there. And that's important, too, to realize that helping might be funny to me is serious to them. And so there's a whole quote that says the human soul doesn't want to be fixed. I'm a problem solver. Probably most of us are problem solvers, too. And it just wants to be heard. So the human soul just wants to be heard sometimes. At the end of the session, I'm going to do this today. I asked for feedback. I asked you to give me your reaction to what we did today. What did you learn? What did you take away from it? It's important so the group can hear, gosh, we had a chance to talk about whatever. And I can say, I learned from what you said. And I think people feel connected. I want to ask you 9, 10 questions. And as the group was going on, we did something called life mapping, which I'll show you later on. And it came to find out that 7 people out of 10 came from a divorced family. And they were all saying, I thought I was by myself going through this. I realized I got people, what else is going through this too? That's really nice to know that we can talk about this. And I'm now rolling that. It's important to set some kind of ground rules with this. So people have a map to follow, and there's not many ground rules. The first one is this is a positive experience. There's no put down. You know, I can't make fun of you as much as I want to make fun of you. I could think I'd share it all I want because I know her. But it's important as a facilitator to call these things out when they happen. Okay. And they don't happen very often because people, at least they're used to the setting that. You know, when I was working at these campus, they had experience. They know this is the way it works. We're not here to judge, but this is a place of understanding. It's not a place of I'm right and you're wrong. I get to understand what it's like, what you have to say. I'm here not to judge you. And I can as a facilitator, you can hear all kinds of stories. You can hear voices like, I can't believe you're doing that. Are you nuts? But you don't say that. You just have to keep that poker face and say, tell me more about that. And because there's always a reason why people act the way they do. You know, it's not always on the surface. I remember my principal one time, the senior wanted to go and make a complaint to the principal, and she was scared to death to do this. And so she wanted me to go in with her. So I said, sure, I'll go in with you. And she had earrings here, she had earrings here, she had earrings in her lip. And she's talking to the principal about this. I could just see his mind working. And she finished, she says, you know what he said? Do those earrings hurt? Because he was just so bored to him, you know. And then he turned and he was able to address what she had to say, but that was the first word out as well. Take turns speaking. You get people like me who like to talk a lot. You get people like somebody else who doesn't, they consider a success if they don't talk at all. Okay? And so it's important for me to say, not let people interrupt. Just say, if you're burning, if she says something, you want to react to it right away, I say, just hang on, let her finish, and then you can react to it. So the facilitator needs to keep that going on too. It's important to let people know they have the right to pass. I've asked all of you, do you want to do this? You know, you could have said yes. I would have paid you. How about? Okay? But they always have the right to pass. It's after we do some of these things, they'll be able to pass. I did have an assignment. We talked about how you've seen your family handle a family crisis. And I've always given them the right or talk option. And I know we have what's called crisis week. We get in a circle, and I go first because it's important for, I can't expect people to talk about themselves and I'm not willing to talk about myself too. So I always go first, and I talk about a challenge in my life. And all year long, this one girl had written everything down. Beautiful, unbelievable stories, but I was the one who got a chance to hear it. And the last one we did, I said, we rolled around a circle. I said, do you want to hand your thing in there? She had it all written down. She says, no. She says, I need to talk to them. And she told the group the story. You could hear a pin drop in the room. It was an unbelievable story about what her family was going through and how they, met this challenge. And it was just so cool. She said, afterwards, I said, what prompted you to say this today? And she said, number one, it's important to hear because I know other students are going through this. And number two, I learned to trust the people in this group. And one time we were talking about death in class. And this girl started talking about her grandma, burst into tears, ran out of the room. Where did she go? Where do you think she went? Restroom. The girl's restroom. So I got another girl, so go get her, bring her back. And she came back and she says, guys, I got to tell you this. She says, here I am sitting on the toilet in the restroom, all by myself, crying. And I can be back in this room where everybody loves me and supports me. And I'm so glad I came back. And nobody ever left the room again. So, the group grows. These things don't happen overnight. It's a process. That's why a group has multiple meetings. What we say here stays here. I never have had anybody. I've had come back and bite. So man, I heard what was talked about in class today. Kids realize as students that this is a sacred space, and they have to get it, and they never ever come. They always are kind of hesitant. They said, "Well, if I say something, is it going to be repeated throughout the school?" I said, "I've yet to, in 13 years of doing this, have that happen because they realize that's the sacred part of doing this." Encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. It's hard to talk, to talk about yourself. And so it's foreign to that. We weren't raised as a whole to do that. Certainly, I don't take a class on how to handle emotions or talk about grief or dying or anything like that. And so it's a kind of, I always tell people, take one step further than you think you can take. And that usually, once again, you always have the right to class. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. But that's that. All right. I need a volunteer. Anybody want to volunteer? You're back. Tell me your name. Tell me your name. Nancy. Tell me a quirky thing about yourself. It could be a physical quirky, or you organize your clothes all up. Just a quirky thing. You have just one. Just to show. We only have time for one.
I like real different things.
You like real different things. Give me an example.
Subjects. Discuss, if the only they do what the people like we're talking about, you don't discuss things.
Yeah.
I wanted to discuss everything I wasn't allowed to. I didn't have a voice. I observed till I was about 7 years old. And once I got a voice, I never shut up.
She said she was talking about observed until she was 7. She never had a voice, and then she's never shut up. Children should be seen and not heard. How often we take that with us the rest of our lives? We hear these messages. Hold your cards close to your chest. Don't wear your emotions on your sleeve. We take these with us. I got a whole other talk I'm doing at Forest Hills on Tuesday at 11 o'clock. You really got a hold about societal messages. So if you want to go that one, you're more than welcome. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay. A quirky thing about you. Now, while you're thinking, let me tell you, does anybody remember the game Monopoly?
Yeah.
Give me a property in Monopoly board. Park Place costs $35 if you land on it, $350 to rent, and it's 3 spots to go. I could be making this up, I realize. But I was the baker. When I was a kid, and I got the chance, so I know all. Roll me between 2 and 12. Roll me a number between 2 and 12. 7. I am going to be on Baltic Avenue. It's going to cost me $60 to buy. So that's my quirkiness. I hate to see my.
I know.
They're giving you a physical
I
version.
can spell, I like visual, I like, like writing a check out and balancing things.
Now it's a checkbook.
And visual.
And visual too.
I don't like, like debit cards and things like that, I like visual.
You like that checkbook? By the way, you can carry a credit card, yeah. You balance it every month. My dad, he sold around it, he worked for Michigan National Bank.
You find that other penny,
Oh my God, it's like we're related. My dad would give my mom a grocery purse for $10, $20, and a miscellaneous purse for $20 at the beginning on Sunday night. On Saturday night, she'd take it back in, along with the receipts, and he would balance. And I remember him saying, Dorothy, you're short a dime in the grocery purse. Where did you spend that dime? So you can relate to that, right? Okay. Okay, so there's a difference between what I call a leader and a teacher and a facilitator. They're different skills. They both work with groups of people, okay? But they have different skills. And sometimes you want a leader teacher. For example, if your ship just hit the iceberg, you want somebody who's going to take control and say, this is what we're going to do, we're going to do it now, we're not talking about this. Other times you want to have a process where people feel like they belong, they have a buy-in to it. And so a teacher, especially, pours knowledge in. It's a lecture. You're sitting in our school, how many people, you only take notes and then take a test or whatever? A facilitator brings knowledge out. We all have some innate knowledge in ourselves. We all have things that we picked up in our brain. And to be able to say, I've said to people, you are really a determined person. And they go, wow, I never realized that before. And I say to somebody else, you're really a good listener. And she said, nobody's ever said that to me before. And so people have these things, it's important to identify them. A teacher leader focuses on individual learning. I want you all to get A's here, I want you to get 90s in your test. But a facilitator focuses on a group coming together. How can we solve this problem, the goals course I was just talking about at the beginning of? How can, as a group, we succeed? Not individually, how we can succeed. I've had people, they had to walk on this 2x4 on edge, and they had to get around, and they had to go like this, and there were two of them. And then, the athletes in the crowd, they go, oh, I can do that, no problem. And I said, the group's got to get across. They go, oh. And I know some people who are very scared of balance, they don't have good balance or whatever, so they discover that they got to position themselves along the balance beam so people can hang on to them. It takes them a while to figure this out, but that's how you succeed with that one. A leader teacher, if something comes up, they'll say, let's take a vote. Majority vote wins. Okay? A facilitator says, let's come to some type of decision where we can reach consensus. We may not all get exactly what we want, but as a group, we can decide to do this. For example, on one of the Boundary Waters trips, the second night out, they got up late in the morning, they took their time and swimming, had a great time. I said, guys, you have to realize there's only a certain amount of campsites where we're going tonight. And we're the last one in there. We're going to get the cabin campsite. We were next to a swamp. I said, guys, what do you want to do about tomorrow? And I didn't have to say a word. We're getting up at the crack of dawn. We're going to have breakfast in 20 minutes, and we're going to, you go to the canoes, you break down the cabin. I didn't have to say a word because the group came to consensus. We want to be a campsite. We don't want to be a swamp. It's fascinating watching these things happen, Focus on facts and doing. Focus on reflection. Reflection about whether I have bold or arrow, okay? What is my personality like? What are some things I value? Who have been influential people in my life? Why do I act? Why do I act the way I do? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I want to be like? Who do I want to be like? Focus on talking to a group as opposed to setting some things out in the group would interact with each other. And they say, my business is amazing circles. Because I always try to put a group in a circle. If you're in a group, they draw because everybody's got a front row seat, and you can interact with each other a lot better. I used to share a classroom with a teacher because I would taught this class 1 hour a day, and I had to find the right person, right colleague who would let me take her for his room and put it in the surplus. I'll put it back at the end of the hour, but can I put it in the surplus? And then multiple times that teacher said, I would start teaching like this, you know? Because you can walk around and talk to people like this, as opposed to everybody being the rows that we grew up with. It's harder to do that. And so people get a chance to know each other, and they get a chance to watch facial expressions, watch gestures, where you can pick up on that stuff. Ends with the goal, a teacher leader, it ends with their job, their class period, whatever, ends with a goal achieved, whatever that goal is. A facilitator, I always try to end, like I'm going to do today, with feedback. I'm going to do, like I said earlier, like get your opinion of what's going on. It's important because it helps me be a better facilitator. It helps the group say, oh, you think that? I think that too. And we can come together with that. The group is given direction in a leader's situation. In the other one, the group provides direction, just like with the Bible learners group I was just talking about. I didn't have to say a word. They got up early next morning and did that all themselves. My only job in that situation is to keep them safe. You know, that's really my job. I showed them how to camp, whatever camp. Once they do something, this is Dave. They don't know my first name, Dave. I never knew he was a late, but didn't have colleges on it before me. It's great too because the first night, you know, we all get the same deal. Like we have a freeze-dried beef stroganoff, and you get one or two students who say, "I don't like that." I said, "Just put it right here on our plate." The next night, they are so hungry, they'll eat dirt. I always tell the parents before we go on our prayer meetings, I eat very well the first 2 nights of the All right, we have something here called cheat sheet cards. They are cards that I came across, and they have a lot of pictures on them. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to pick out a card that speaks to you about my question. Okay? Anybody want to volunteer? It's fun. Oh, you've already done it. Yeah, there's always that one that has their hand up the whole time. You know? So you got to come on. You got to go. So you got to say, I'll come back to you. Okay. Tell me your name. Barb. Okay, Barb. Pick out a card, if you would, that talks to you about what it's like, or what the world is today to you. How does the world feel to you today? There's no right or wrong.
And she said exclamation point, but I was looking at it like it's a keyhole.
Right. And it actually is a keyhole.
Okay.
Okay.
And how do you unlock it? I feel like we're on lockdown.
We're on lockdown with COVID.
Yes.
Okay.
And not just here, I mean everywhere. So how do we unlock it and get back?
Okay. And that's making you feel, how would you say that you're feeling with that?
Isolated.
Isolated. Okay. See, I told you some kind of story to be told. She just told her story. All right. Anybody else want to take a stab? Okay. Tell me your name. June, same question to you. What does the world seem like to you?
It looks like a target next to the bow.
Oh, that's actually a turtle, a Native American drawing. Okay?
It looks like a target.
Yes, it does look like a target. But if you want to make it a target, we can make it a target for your purposes. Okay. So how does that make you feel about the world today? How does that speak to you?
It's just like there's so much competitiveness or debating. I just think that people are they're thinking about the love without how it's alone, you know, that it's really COVID. And I just think this reminds me of the negative feeling instead of like being part of love. It's just this competitiveness, angriness, and that's what part of things out here. Everybody's selling everybody.
Okay. There's a sense of I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing. Okay, that makes you feel. Yeah. Would you say it makes you feel sad? Or
Yeah, it makes me feel sad that we're missing on so many beautiful opportunities.
okay, thank you. She told me her story. Okay. One more. Anybody else want to back one? Tell me your name. Irene. There's a song about you.
There it is.
At the end, we can all sing it. Okay.
I used to sing it to me nightly when I was walking up the road.
All right, Irene, which card speaks to you? deal?
I'm trying to figure out what scope I am and where I'm going.
She was trying to figure out what scope she is and where she's going. So you feel a little bit confused? And is that something that is recent? Is it a COVID thing? Is it being old age kind of thing?
It's what we've been going
Wait, did you
through
go
the
into?
whole year, but this whole thing is,
Okay.
I know that it's real, and I force myself to understand that it's real, but it's not to hear.
You have to hear.
When hearing about
Yeah.
it, and I'm pretty sure most people are, and I don't know how spoken than a lot of people. And so nobody else was going,
What scope am I in? And that's, thank you, Irene. And it's interesting because somebody else can pick that wheel and look at a whole different scenario. That's the beauty about it too. Okay, now we're gonna still stay with cheat sheet cards. And I would like somebody to talk about what it's like to be a senior in our society. Anybody want to do that one? What it's like to be a senior? It's not easy. Anybody want to try? Okay, tell me your name. Kathy. Kathy, you get the barren desert with a dead tree. You see that? There, come back here. And how does that speak to you about
Oh, being a senior?
being a senior?
Well, this isn't what I was going to say, but sometimes as a senior, I feel invisible. And it's like, you're, or whatever. How does this speak to me? I don't like it.
Okay, carry on. Thank you for volunteering. So, here's what, anybody want to volunteer? I got another one for you. Anybody want to volunteer? This is how I lie. You don't know what you're going to get. You know, up here, you get to look at it and see what you're going to get. Yeah, okay, you want ready to come back? Okay, tell me your name.
Nancy.
Nancy, thank you, Nancy. Okay, Nancy, I want you to, when you see this card, talk about how it speaks to you about your being a child. You got a compass.
Oh, boy.
North, south, east, west. Okay, how does that speak to you about being a child?
Totally round the world, no direction, how to make steps.
Okay,
And I go north, you've been there.
all right, you were all over the place.
Trying to look for things to make sense, and they just never seem to add up.
Okay, she was trying to find direction in her life that just never seemed to add up. Now let me ask you, thank you. Let me ask you a question. How many people prefer this method where you get to see the card ahead of time? You have a menu, so to speak. Raise your hand if you like that idea. How many people like drawing blind? Why do you like that?
Because I was already prejudging, I was looking at the time and anticipating what she was going to do. So I was kind of all over the place with this.
Oh, you just had one card, but did you feel like it was, I gotta make something up and go? Okay, all right. Well, like you said, you had an idea what you wanted to say, but you could put it in the card with that. But most people, 90% say, I like this, I like to be able to see what I get myself into. Then we talk about, what's life like? Life isn't like that, is it? Life is like this, pulling cards off of that every day. Every day, I go to my father to say, I don't want any change in my life today. And I said, Dad, I don't know how it works out for you. All right, now, I want to do something else too here. You guys who are in front, you are so lucky today. You are so lucky. There you go. Okay. There you go. Okay. There you go. And would you like to fight tonight? Okay. So your job, while we're going to move on to something else. Look, I want you to make something out of these pipe makers that has to do with something you like to do or something about your personality. Okay? I don't care which, you have two choices, go ahead and just let your imagination go. Okay, so the rest of you, we're gonna move on, we'll come back to them, we're not gonna forget them. I would like somebody to talk about, well, let me, can I call on you, sir? Sure. Okay, well, good. Oh, hold on, I'm getting out of the screen, sorry.
You're okay.
Could you tell me, if you were gonna go on a road trip, a car trip with somebody, what are some things that would be important for them to know about you? Tell me your name.
Ron.
Ron, tell me some things that would be important for that person to know about you.
I don't have a lot to say.
Okay, you're a quiet person? Yeah. Okay. Anything else I should know about you, about your partner on a road trip? Are you a morning person? Are you a night owl? Are you, you sing like rock and roll music on the radio?
No, I'm not a morning, or I'm not a late person.
Okay.
I'm kind of an early person.
Okay. There aren't enough of those of us around like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Anybody else? What would be important for you to know about you? Nancy. Bart. Where's Nancy?
Nancy's
Nancy's here. I knew she was close by. My radar had Nancy in there. I guess there. Okay. Go ahead. What should somebody I know about you about maybe your own work?
You need to know that I sacrifically for Panther space. I love 60s on Sirius XM, which is now 60s gold. And I will sing right along with the radio, and I will notice everything around me.
And will you tell me about that, what you're noticing around you too?
Yes.
You'll tell me about it. You've been on road trips together?
We do several things together, and it's kind of like, I'm asking myself, how are you able to drive? She points things out that I don't even see.
Okay, once again, there was a story being told. Okay, thanks, Ron. Thank you, Barb. Okay, how are we doing, group? Are you close? Well, you got a few more minutes. So, I made my thing, and I would like somebody to try to say, what do you think this is? And I'm not very artistic, I have to say that right up front. And why did I make it? What does it mean to me? You want to take a stab at what it is?
Peace sign.
A peace sign. It does look a little like a peace sign, you're right. It's supposed to be more round, actually. Yes?
I think it's a pumpkin because it's fall.
It's pumpkin and fall. That's a good guess, but you're wrong. What? It's a goal. A goalpost. Well, you're close. It has to do with sports. Yes.
It's a ball.
It's a
Like
ball.
a basketball.
So, all right. I told you it's a ball. What's the next word out of your mouth? Well, it's basketball. What's the next word out of your mouth? No, those are facts. I want you to concentrate on my feelings about this. Why? Why did I pick a basketball thing? You guys are good. I don't care what you said, Shane. It's a basketball. It's why? Because I love playing basketball. I've been playing basketball since I was a little kid in first grade. I used to shove off the driveway before school, so we drive at home. So what is it? So what's the next word out of your mouth?
Why is the ball flat?
Why is it ball? Well, it's just what I had to work with there. That. Why do I love basketball? What is it about basketball that I like? I like the fact that I can shoot, I can play defense, I can rebound, I can pass. There's all kinds of parts of basketball that I like. It's a game I don't have to be good at one thing. Okay? So that is what we do with make things. We get people to make things. And we ask them, we try to guess what it is. So, and I had a great reason coming in. Marcia, what do you think Marcia, her assignment was to build something that was either something about her personality or something she likes to do. Anybody want to take a guess? Firecracker. Okay. Marcia, what did you make here? And why did you make it?
Well, it's a brain for me to be like crocheting.
You like to crochet with that. Okay? Very good. What is it about crocheting?
I can make this.
You make yes. I'll give you my address. Okay? Cookie is something quite made. Alright, this is what we have here. I'm not even going to ask you to do this. What is it? It's a ball also. You want to play basketball? No. Tell me about the live ball. What is the live ball? The social part, you don't really care whether you're winning or losing.
I don't care how I don't believe it very well.
I don't want you on my team, you don't care how I lose.
I don't care, it doesn't, that part, the game itself, it's a socialized.
Okay, thank you. Nancy, you like knickknacks, multi-thing like
I haven't too, but I think it represents the twisted way in life I always felt, still do. And I also love colors, so by combining all the colors, when I did oil painting for many years, then I only painted with the brightness colors with painting, so I love colors.
Okay, she loves colors, she loves to paint, it's a twisted outlook of life. I'm hearing a theme for you. You talked about having trouble finding directions, you've been all over the place. I mean, this is a constant theme, am I correct with that? Thank you.
I'll
Okay.
always be looking.
Always looking. I still, you two song, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. That's the song I'm thinking of. Tell me your name again.
I'm Ted.
Ted. Ted, what did you make and why did you make it?
They're separate.
Okay, they're separate. Okay, they're two worms going to get together.
That's what you're at.
Yeah, are they worms? You like the fish?
Yeah, that one's supposed to be a woolly one.
Oh, that's a, what type of worm?
A woolly.
Woolly worm, okay. All right, and tell me what it is about worms.
I like to watch them.
You like to watch them, okay? So you go out in the rainstorms and after the rainstorms and watch them.
They're usually all over the place.
They're all, and what is it, why worms as opposed to chipmunks, sir?
Well, I love to watch roasted.
You like to watch those too. You like to watch anything. You're an observer. You're curious.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Let's give all a hand. So, interesting enough. Can I have yours back, please? I asked her a question to make something. And if what is she then doing? She didn't really talk about this so much. What did she talk about?
The symbol.
The symbol. What did you talk about? You talked about yourself. You talked about your feelings. You talked about your thoughts on things. And it's a way, if I ask somebody a direct question, I'm going through trying to get to the front door, and the front door often has 3 or 4 locks on it. If I go around and talk about something with chichi cards or with pipe cleaners, it becomes more, it's more safe to do that. And so they're talking about this, but they're really talking about themselves. And it's a really great way for me as a facilitator to get to know people and get them to open up a little bit. Okay, isn't this fun?
Hey, I still want to add this, just because I felt this way young, and now as a senior, that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. Oh, that wrong. Part of this active listening we talked about before. 70% of our conversations are nonverbal. I'm listening more for feelings and facts. When somebody asked me about my basketball, they were concentrating on the basketball. I said, I need to concentrate more on why I like basketball. What is it about that feeling I get? What am I hearing? What am I feeling? What am I seeing? Once again, commenting on the nonverbals, non-judgment. No advice or problem solving. If you got an issue, I need you to figure that out. You don't need for me to figure that out for you. But how many people here are problem solvers? You consider yourself a problem solver. Yeah, we have problems in life. And so it's hard to ask questions rather than give you answers. I'm really good at giving, asking questions. I don't give a whole lot of answers. And validate the risk that they took by doing this. Like I said, let's look at for these people who didn't look like this. It's important to be validated, that I understand this was. I'll talk to you about myself all day long. I wasn't always like that. I was very quiet as a kid. It was very difficult for me to talk about myself, talk about my emotions. And I realized that. And so for somebody to step up like that, raise their hand and volunteer, that's a huge thing. This one woman was doing a workshop, and we were talking about, it was a listening exercise, and she was talking about her estranged daughter. And as I was walking around, I had moving triads, and tears were coming down her. And I didn't interrupt anything, I just let the process go on. And afterwards, I saw her in the parking lot. And she said, Dave, she says, I'm from an Asian background. We don't talk about this stuff ever. This is the very first time I've ever talked about my daughter in my life to anybody. You know what? It felt pretty good. It was a good night. I do drawings. I love drawings too. Most people, this is my drawing of my life, the events of my life. Most people are like me, they're stick figure people. Okay? And I'm not going to go through this at all, but you know it's law reappears. Yeah, I won't, because we're running out of time here. So, but now and then you get an artist degree. And the artist, man, what they can do. This was about a crisis. And look at the eyes with that. Look at the needle on the neck. And look at the broken heart. And it's really fascinating. What this the assignment was the emotions involved in a family crisis. And in her particular situation, she talked about addiction with that. Isn't that cool? Anytime I get an artist in my group, I say, can I take your drawing and keep it? And so I have to watch that now. This person was also a same assignment, and she had a little umbrella that was just able to deflect the storm that was coming down upon her with that. Just on her fingertips. It was very curious, thunder and lightning. I don't know what that little sign says here. I can't make that out. But that's, and it's had like Lance Armstrong, who was wearing those yellow bands at the time, and that had to do that too. This one is another life map about events in their own life, plus the nation's life, the Twin Towers. This was around 2001, it's the July 3rd. And they obviously love music, religion, and family. Look at that. Family was a problem in this drawing. I had one time, I had a woman half on the page, half off. She was half there. So I said to the student, tell me about this. He said, well, my mom left our family when I was 5 years old. She was only half. This one is about, remember the movie As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson? This is the metamorphosis of Melvin, was the assignment for this one. You can see how Melvin starts off there on the left with the little horns on, even if they're crashed, he becomes more human, has a smile instead of a frown on his face in there. And there's a favorite quote from the movie. How many people have seen this movie? There's a guess. Where he says, Helen the waitress keeps signing the thing, and then how he's just linear thinking like that, how he opened up afterwards. This one is the assignment was to have significant learnings in my life, and I said, don't put them down just in a linear fashion. Try to access the creative side of your brain, and I know that one hurts. Honesty hurts, but helps. There in the lower left-hand corner. And pain shouldn't break your heart. And, I can't read that one. But anyways, the students love to get so creative in these things. I had one student at the end of each chapter that we talked about, each section, he would give me a drawing. And this was the end of the year. And on the left-hand side, he said before, I had a lot of questions in my life, and now I feel like I'm smarter, and I know what's going on. Results of the group experience. Here's what I heard people say at the end when they've asked for feedback. Number one, that's number one thing I hear. I'm not alone in my challenges. I thought I was, and I feel so good that other people, not that they're having to go through the same thing, that I have something I can call on. You're not the person I thought you were. If you look at people and say, they must be like this, they must be like that. And I went to compare two girls of my class. One had all the earrings and the black leather jacket, the other one looked like she could be a model. And they had to do an exercise together if they were going to live together, whether they'd be compatible or not. And they, Mr. Kampfschulte, you're not going to believe us. We're so much alike, we don't really miss that. It takes time for people to slow down and reflect. It gives an opportunity to do that. We live in such a fast-paced life. And to reflect takes time. You got to know stop to do that. And our group gave us some space to do that. I'm becoming more whole through healing. I've had a lot of things happen in my life, people told me. And I realized if I can talk about this stuff, it's not so difficult anymore. But I also realized other people had similar challenges. They got through it. I can get through it too. Letting go of what we believe about ourselves and others. We all have these beliefs about ourselves, and usually are negative. I'm not capable. I'm dumb. I can't draw, I can't get this, I'm not good enough to do this, those types of things, I'm gonna fail. And so to let go of that stuff, and these exercises, often, people say, I'm more capable than I thought I was. Differentiate between just living to survive and living well. What does it take to live well? We always talk about that. What does it take to live a good life? In hospice world, we talk, what does it take to die and live well? Tuesdays are boring. Like people are yeah. The key to that book was, if I lived a good life, I'm going to die a good death. That doesn't happen the last week of life. It's something that you're doing all through life with that. I'm stronger than I thought I was. More often, once again, we feel like we're come up with a challenge in our life. The immediate default thing is, I can't do it. For me, that's been my experience for a lot of people in my groups. And people realize, there's a quote that one of my students gave me. People are like tea bags. They don't realize how strong they are. You can sort of dip into a little hot water. It's okay to talk about my challenges with other people. This is a supportive situation, and I can do that. It's healthy for me to do that. Even though I've heard these messages, don't wear my emotions on my sleeve, my cards close to my chest. Those are false messages. It's helpful to be able to talk about in a safe environment. And that's what I'm trying to do that. And my last one is, the biggest one is to believe I can trust people. I can trust people to have my back. I can trust people not to tell other people what I'm saying. I can trust people to support me. Like that girl who came back in the bathroom after talking about death, and she realized that this was the place that she needed to be after that, and she trusted people. It's hard to trust people. We do an exercise in the ropes course where somebody stands there, and I have people lined up in a crisscross manner behind them, and a count of 3, you have to fall backwards. And you don't know, you know they're there, and then it takes a lot, and you got to keep your legs stiff and your hands close to your side. It's really hard to do. But once they do that, they realize people got it. So, that was fun. Now, I know you're going to want to take inspiration home, right? Thank you for doing that. Here's my question. I've come to realize about my life. As I got older, I've come to realize. Do they want to throw the blanket around for me? I've come to realize as I've gotten older. Go ahead, tell me your name. Judy. Don't sweat the small stuff. I had somebody add an appendix to that, say it truly is all small stuff. Thank you. Anybody else? I've come to realize this stuff myself, or about my life. Yes?
People aren't really thinking about me as much as I think they are.
People aren't thinking about me as much as I think they are. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? I'm getting hooked, so I gotta go quick here. Okay. All right.
You can affect people by just talking and leaving yourself that somebody could do you wrong.
Say the first sentence again.
That you can lead people without telling them what to do.
You can lead people without telling them what to do.
And then
Yeah.
you have to come there.
Okay. Follow.
As long as you don't kill any puppies, you can fix it.
As long as you don't kill any puppies, you can fix it. Last thing, one word that describes what your thought of today, what you thought of today's talk. One word. Coward. Made you think?
Too short.
Too short. Okay, I agree. Insightful? Optimistic. We don't have time for them to go around. Yes.
I'm on the right track.
You're on the right track. It's important to know that. It's all
No,
done.
really, I knew I thought I was a teacher, but I guess I'm a facilitator.
You're a facilitator more, okay. So, thank you so much for coming and participating today. This doesn't work unless my group participates. You guys were able to do that. And one of my students said, I asked him to read that, and he said, "You tricked us. You made us talk about ourselves." And I said, "How did I do that?" He goes, "I don't know, I just felt comfortable." He says, I still think you tricked us." So I hope, sir, I can come back again. I had a great time today. Thank you. If anybody's interested, I wrote a book about my hospice experience. I haven't had a conversation. I'm dying to talk with you. It's $10, and I'm always willing to talk with you. Okay.